Back to the Bowling Sisters, and I'm back again, and today I'm talking about our Fantasy Premier League. Yes, this weekend is the deadline for the Fantasy Premier League. For all our Indian fans, today at 11 o'clock India time will be the deadline, as 12:30 is the first game which is going to be starting. So for that, let's talk about what can we do for today's deadline, and what are the changes I'm expecting, what captains, what are the differentials, whom should I captain, who can be a prospective captain, all of those points. And you will get it right here. I'll give you an in-depth detail of what I feel about these players and how can they make a difference to your team. Not just my team, but your team. Before I start, let's talk about the people and my team. The team has been performing pretty decent, and it is with game week number 10, it was 71 points. Thankfully, it was better. I could have gone on to do much better, but 71 points is something I'm pretty happy with. Unfortunately, Luis Diaz is injured, so I am still in the hunt for a new player in my midfield department. So starting off with my backline and my goalkeeper, last week I started off with my Aaron Ramsdale, who just gave me 1 point, and unfortunately my brought with my goalkeepers it still remains the same as 1 point or 0 points, because I've got Ramsdale as well as I've got Dean Henderson. So both of them have not been performing to the point where I really want them to. So moving from them, let's go into my back four. I have another big problem. What I thought was Perisic is going to be a big differential for my team, unfortunately is now becoming a liability for me. I've got Perisic who's been giving 1 point, and since the time I've gotten Perisic, he's not been playing the full quota of minutes, or he's not been performing to the level I expected him to be. I think so the age is catching up. I had Perisic as 1 point, and then the big boy Cancelo gave 18. That was a very impressive run, and which Cancelo has been on a very impressive run, and I think so he cannot be discounted out of the team. For Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, he is going to be one of the starters for this week. Next week, Manchester City has a blank, so we obviously have to plan not just for this week, but for next week as well. How can we make our team better without Manchester City players? If you have 3 players or 2 players just like me, then we obviously have to plan for the week ahead as well, for game week number 12, where City and Arsenal players are not playing. Unfortunately enough, I only have 3 Arsenal players, so I have to actually plan my game out for this week as well as for next week. So maybe let me figure it out, what can I do for this week and also for next week as well. So then I had Cancelo, like I was mentioning, and then I had Trippier, who gave me 7 points last week. Newcastle in a very prime form, and Reece James just gave me 1 point. He didn't start, so I believe he's going to be starting this week for sure. Don't remove James yet. He has a lot to offer. Luis Diaz gave me 3 points. He was substituted in the 30th or 35th minute. He didn't give me much points, but apart from an assist, so he gave me 3 points. Then we got Kevin De Bruyne, who gave me 6, and Martinelli, who gave me 12. On song players, these guys are on song, and Martinelli is one of those players who will become a quick differential. If you don't have him in your team, do have it, but in my opinion, about 70% of the people do have him. So, and then coming on to my front line, I've got Tooney, I've got Jesus, and I've got Haaland up front, who was my captain, who gave me 12, Jesus gave me 5, and Tooney gave me 5 as well. Coming on to my bench, I have Henderson, who gave me 2, Estupiñán 2, Andreas 6, Murphy 8. The only thing which I might want to change is, I think so, Luis Diaz, and then looking at what to do with my 3 City players, and about my 5 players are already not going to be playing next week, so I have to be planning pretty smartly as to what do I plan to do for next week. Should I do a quick chop and change, or do I let it remain the same? If that's so, then I can put Ramsdale on the bench, bring Dean Henderson out. But then there's a lot of things to be talked about, so I'll talk about it in this complete video for you guys. So coming on to my details of my team, how did it perform? It, like I said, 71 points, 1.7 million was my game week rank, which is not atrocious. Yes, it is atrocious, but not that atrocious like last week. My total game week points have increased to a 568. My overall rank has fallen very badly. I was in six figures, now I've gone into a seven figure, 1.2 million. So that is not that bad, but yeah, game week 11 and 12 might be a big players for me. How do I plan to go ahead with that? So on that, let's go and pick my team for next week. Yes, we've got City playing Liverpool, so have to be very careful whom do I pick in. I am pretty sure Luis Diaz is not going to be fit, so Luis Diaz will be going out. James is going to be playing. Arsenal is playing Leeds, so they are also pretty well. I am still in the figuring mode of whom should I play because the team is pretty set. I might do a couple of transfers now and then do one more transfer for next week. So what I might do, yes, we've got City playing Liverpool, so have to be very careful whom do I pick in. I am pretty sure Luis Diaz is not going to be fit, so Luis Diaz will be going out. James is going to be playing. Arsenal is playing Leeds, so they are also pretty well. I am still in the figuring mode of whom should I play because the team is pretty set. I might do a couple of transfers now and then do one more transfer for next week. So what I might do is I might remove Luis Diaz right now. And whom should I remove? I believe I can go ahead and remove De Bruyne this week because City has already played and they're playing Liverpool. De Bruyne is going to be a quick the midfield center point. I'm still in the process of figuring out whom should I remove. So most probably De Bruyne might go out, and with that I might bring in whom should I bring in? I've got Foden at an 8.2, but I don't want to bring him that. I might bring in a Maddison at an 8.3 and a Tossard at a 6.8. So what that will do for me is if I add Madders and I add Tossard, so this will give me a pretty much balance and I'll get a 5.2. Next week I can obviously remove Gabriel Jesus at an 8 million and keep and Perisic. Either one of them, so that then my backline and I can play my back mid five. I can play a 3-5-2 with Tooney alone. So I might have to remove Jesus next week. So I'll talk about that next week when I'm planning to do that. But this week, these are the two changes that I'm planning to do. Luis Diaz, yes, had to go. So I've gotten Maddison. Tossard comes in, and if I remove Tossard later on and want to bring in De Bruyne, I am lost by 0.3. So that is something I have to be very careful about. That means I cannot bring in De Bruyne back. So I have to be very careful for the weeks coming in. That I'll going to fill you guys in a little later. So what I might do is I just remove Luis Diaz and bring in a Tossard because I cannot bring in Maddison. Or maybe going for a Gross because he's been also performing pretty well. So that is what I might do for this week and keep two transfers for next week. Then I can do a little more chopping and changing and try and do the best for my team. And let's talk about my final team for game week number 11. The team will be as follows. I will keep Ramsdale because he's playing Leeds away, even though I've got a good option with Henderson with Wolves, but then Leicester's Nottingham Forest performances has not been up to the mark, so I'll refrain from keeping Henderson. I may remove him when I pick my wildcard team in game week 13 or 14 whenever I plan to do it. So you will see that over here. My backline is going to be again the four players, Perisic, Cancelo, Trippier and James. Yes, I'm taking a punt with Cancelo. Should I play him? Should I not play him? But then because that is something I am still in the middle of thinking about what should I do with that. Then the mid is going to be Tossard, De Bruyne, who's playing Liverpool, and Martinelli. Obviously, these are the players who cannot be left out at all. And then I've got Tooney, Jesus, and Haaland being my captain right now. But I might switch to somebody else later on. But last time around when I did that, I was very sorry for myself because I didn't make him the captain. So Haaland for sure will be one of the players I'll be keeping an eye on. Should I do a change or not? But Haaland will be my player. But then again, I am in a fix. Should I bring in Estupinian, who's playing Brentford away, or Andres Pereira, who'll be playing Bournemouth at home in Fulham and Craven Cottage, and obviously Murphy and Newcastle are higher flying, so there's going to be a big fixture to be looking out at and talking about. So that is something which I'm still keeping an eye on. How do I manage my whole team altogether. So that is something which I am still in the midst of figuring out. But yes, the only change which I have done is I've removed Luis Diaz for 8.8 million. I've gotten a Tossard at a 6.8. So this guy is going to be one of the big players I would like to watch out for this week, even though he's in my watch list. But for now, I would like to keep him this way. So on that note, thank you very much for watching. Do like, share, subscribe, enable those notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.